Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the house. We're going to be doing a running back tier list video, similar to how we did the quarterback video. I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts on all these players and what I think about them, my just unfiltered thoughts. I recognize a lot of these faces, but some of these faces I don't know. So for the people that I don't know, I'm unfortunately going to have to skip them because I want to make it fair. But yeah. Let's get right into it. I don't want to waste your guys' time. Aaron Jones, I think, is probably, I think just based on his age, he's going to be a C tier back next year. And also, he's going to be running behind the Vikings offensive line, which is kind of a downgrade. But, I mean, he should still be okay. I don't think he's going to be what he was with Green Bay at all. But he could still, he's still a good pass catcher, a good receiving back. He's still a good. I mean, you saw in the playoff game against the Niners, he can still slash and cut, and if you give him a lane, he's gone. But I don't think he's going to be quite the same player he was at Green Bay. So we're gonna have to go see for him. Devon Achane, I think, is a B tier running back, and I think he's just going to get better with time. And he looked really good down the stretch last year, and the Dolphins really leaned on him. Tyler Algier, C tier. He's very much in that mold of like a guy that, you don't mind him being your starting running back, but I think if you could find someone better, you definitely do. And that's very similar to what I think about Brian Robinson. He's got good vision, good size, good speed, but nothing that nothing gets you super excited. He's just a solid running back. Now this guy, however, you get really excited about talking with him about what he can be. And I actually drafted him 4th overall in my fantasy team last year because I thought Arthur Smith, who loves to run the ball, would use him a little more. But I guess he liked Tyler Algier a lot. But I think. And next year, I think he definitely is going to be the lead back, and he was going to get all those carries that he should get. And I think he's going to have a great year next year. I don't know who this is. Fortunately, Breece Hall is a B tier back, I think. Not quite the same that he was his rookie year. He had looked really explosive his rookie year, but I think after that injury, it just kind of took a step away from him, but he's still a good running back. Jonathan Brooks is a rookie. Maybe I think he's a little better than these two guys, but he's running behind the Panthers on the line, which should be improved. But I still think they need a little bit of time to mesh and gel because they did sign 2 free agents. But we'll see. It's the Panthers. Anything can happen. I don't know who this guy is, unfortunately. I know who this is. This is the return specialist for the Vikings. Great return specialist. Very painfully average running back. Nothing special. Okay vision. Good speed, though. But okay. He's just okay. He's a backup. This is Zach Charbonnet. I think Zach Charbonnet, again, is in that same mold as like Tyler Algier. And he's just kind of like, he's good at everything, but there's nothing that really separates him. Maybe I'll put him a little higher just because he's a little younger and has more juice, but I don't think he is going to be anything much more than just a change of pace backup. Maybe like a kind of guy that you split carries with, but nothing like more than that. Chuba Hubbard I think he's better. I think, this was a guy that was talked about as like a first round pick the year before he got drafted and then kind of just fell off. But I think he's starting to see some of that talent. And last year, after the coach got fired, they started running a lot more outside zone, which I think Chuba Hubbard is very comfortable doing. And he looked good. I mean, he ended the year with a 77 overall grade, and he overtook Miles Sanders' role. So I think he is a good back, and I think he has the chance to be a B tier back even if they give him the keys to the offense. And that's if Jonathan Brooks, if they don't give it to Jonathan Brooks, who's probably going to be injured. So I'll put him above Jonathan Brooks, but I still think he has the talent to be a B tier back for sure. Nick Chubb is an A tier back easily. I think if you asked me this last year before he got injured, he was definitely a C tier back, but that injury was pretty gruesome. I just don't know if he's going to have the same juice that he did, but I think he's still going to be good. And you got to give him the respect he deserves. So he's definitely in that A tier, but I think that injury is just going to slow him down a little bit. And Bijan, I think, is just ascending. So there's a little bit passing of the torch there. This is easily S tier. I mean, what do you want me to say about Christian McCaffrey? He can do everything. Yeah, there's nothing. There's no. You don't need analysis on that. James Conner. I think I'm gonna put him like towards a maybe C tier for now, mid C tier. He's again one of those backs that he's got good vision, and he's probably the best back in that category of guys that you like as your starting running back, but you don't love them as your starting running back. And I think that reflects well in the C tier, where he's good at everything he does. He's just not great at anything, really. He's got good vision. He's got good size. He has okay speed. But I think if you could find something better, you definitely do. This is that rook. Oh God, this is the Michigan guy. I can't remember his name right now though. But I feel like just because he's a rookie, and with the breakout of Kyron Williams, he's just not going to play that much this year. And he's just like, also he got injured too, and I think he lost his step a little bit. I think he's okay. Nothing special though. I think I'm just D tier is fine for now. I mean, eventually he'll probably work his way into C tier. But I think D tier is fine for a backup. I don't know who this guy is either, unfortunately. But this is A.J. Dillon, and A.J. Dillon was very disappointing last year. Like, really, really disappointing. Like, for a guy with his size, you would expect him to just be a bowling ball but he just doesn't play like that. I think we'll put him in D tier because he plays like a backup. I mean, obviously he's more talented than this, but I don't know what it is. He just can't seem to figure it out right now. Rico Dowell is next. I think he is that typical scat back, that change of pace runner. But a very, like a guy that I think every team needs in their running back. Just a guy to get in that will, make a few good plays here and there throughout the season. But he's a backup for a reason. Like, he's probably not going to start. Jerick McKinnon is the same type of player as Rico Dowell. He's just older. So I think Rico Dowell's on the upward trend, and Jerick McKinnon's on the downward trend. Gus Edwards is like, I think he's like top of C tier. He's again one of those backs that is like, he's really good at one thing, and that one thing is putting his head down, and he's like, it's just a speed train, right? Like, you give him a carry, he makes one cut, or he just finds the hole and he just bangs through it. And he's going to get a lot of carries this year, especially running under Harbaugh's off. And like, you definitely know the Chargers are going to run the ball this year, and they got a good guy to do it with. Austin Eckler, I don't think this should be controversial at all. He did not look very explosive last year at all. He was definitely just a shell of himself. And it's sad because he was really good at one point. But now he's just not what he was. Travis Etienne is a great back. He's a real, okay, I wouldn't say great back, but he's a really good back. And they traded, like 2 years ago or whatever, they traded James Robinson away, gave him the keys. He looked really good. I think my one gripe on him is that he tries to bounce everything outside. So maybe if he works on his vision a little bit, he has the ability to get to an A or even S tier back, but he's still like a really good back, right? Just on his physical talent alone, it makes up for it. This is Jerome Ford. He's a backup, but he's probably one of the best backups in the league, and he could definitely start. But he's a backup. Don't know who this is, unfortunately. This is Antonio Williams. I can't remember his name. He just signed with the Patriots. Again, he's one of those, like, they gave him every opportunity in Washington to be something, and his vision is just really bad. So he's a good scat back, a good receiving back, but not much of a runner. And I don't think his receiving ability makes up for it. I don't know who this is, unfortunately. Also, Derrick Henry is an S tier back easily. Just the Titans offense just ran through him when he was with them, and it's gonna run through him in Baltimore. Like, everything they do is gonna be on him, and just for his age and how good he's been, his prime is just continued, and he hasn't really shown a lot of wear and tear on his body, which is incredible because he had so many carries, but he hasn't hit that cliff that most running backs hit. I don't know who this is, unfortunately. Again, I'm assuming it's a rookie because of the picture. But this is James Cook. James Cook is probably one of the better C tier running backs in the league. He just kind of likes to fumble the ball a lot. Also, I think he needs a little more work as an in between the tackle runner, but he has all the physical tools to be an A tier back. I think he just needs a little more work on his vision. And maybe a couple other things. And maybe he needs to be able to hold on to the ball better. Justice Hill is, again, probably he's one of those scat back types, but a little bit better of a runner. And I think because of that, we'll put him as one of the better guys. But he's a backup. There's no way he can handle a full workload. Josh Jacobs, A tier, and again, there should be no debate there. He led the league in rushing 2 years ago. He got banged up last year, but he's still a great back, and the Packers paid him like it. So, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think you want to talk about rookies and drafting rookie running backs high, and this is the guy with the talent that you do it with. And you saw with the Lions at the beginning of the year, not so much, but towards the end of the stretch and in the playoffs, he was a real weapon for them. Probably a top 15 back, really explosive. He's good. And I have a little bit of a gripe with him because I took David Montgomery was one of my best fantasy players, and he took a lot of carries from him at the end of the season, and I'm still upset about that, but I think, there's a reason he did it because he is really good. So he's going to go at the top of B tier. Jamal Williams, again, is the same type of back as Zach Charbonnet, Tyler Algier, Brian Robinson. You're okay with him being your lead back, but if you get someone better, you definitely want someone better. He's a good power back and can catch the ball, but nothing special. Javonte Williams, I think he's a guy that injuries have just hurt him a lot. He was definitely in that B tier, but I think he just wasn't the same after that injury, and it hurts because he looked so good that first year and that second year, but I think he's just already a name that I think people just have already forgotten about, which is sad because he was really good. He's kind of even though he's so much younger, he's just you can already see that the injuries have definitely taken a toll on his body, and 2 major injuries back to back. He's just not going to be what he was coming out of Ohio State, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate when injuries really just you can't perform because of something out of your control, basically. But yeah, he's probably already past his physical prime, which sucks. But Jonathan Taylor is an S tier back. You saw the offense looked when he came back. They started humming, and the team started playing better. They went on a little bit. They are better. The Colts are a better team when Jonathan Taylor is their running back. There's no question about it. Let's see. This is oh gosh, I can't remember. There's so many guys. I can't remember his name. But he's a B. He's for sure a B tier. I mean, like top of B tier, borderline A tier. But I want to keep it. I want to keep the A tier guys and the S tier guys. Like that's you have to be like a whole nother level of back to be in that category. But I think he's very close, and I think maybe 1 or 2 more years of good production would put him there. But I think talent wise, yeah. Production wise, maybe not so much. Or he needs another year, I think. And then I put him up there. But he's still really good. Alvin Kamara, probably he was an S tier, A tier back, but I think now the age has caught up with him a little bit. He's still really good contact balance, still good hands, but I think he's just not the athlete that he was. Kyren Williams is also one of those backs that he just burst onto the scene, but he's one of those backs that has maxed out his potential because he's not very fast. I mean, he's not like a super athlete or anything, but he does the most that he can with his body, and he's got good vision, and he broke out for the Rams last year for a reason because of that vision. He's just a solid running back. Alexander Madison was a shell of himself last year. He was not very good, and that is why the Vikings didn't re-sign him and decided to move on and get a new running back. Elijah Mitchell, I think, right? That's his name. I think he had a really good rookie season and looked like he definitely could be a starter. He gets injured a lot though, and I do think he's probably has like starting level talent, like running back talent. I'm gonna put him, but yeah, he's definitely. I want to reorganize this D tier a little bit. I definitely think that. Elijah Mitchell could be a starting level running back. Joe Mixon is probably a B tier back. I think if you asked me this last year or 2 years ago, he's an A tier back, but age is catching up with him, and it's apparent he wasn't as efficient last year, and he just doesn't have the same burst that he did. So I think he's a B tier back. Dave Montgomery is I think if you ask me who the most average running back in the league is, it's David Montgomery, right? Like he's good vision, good hands, good blocker, good pass blocker, good good speed, but nothing that makes him stand out. And he's very much like I said, he's again like one of those guys that's like, okay, he's on the very cusp of being one of those guys that's like, okay, like we're okay with him being our starting running back, but we want to find someone better. But he's good enough to kind of make you not it's not so much of an importance, right? But I think he's probably the most average back in the league. Zach Moss is very much, again, he's in that mold of Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier. He's probably the best one of the bunch, or maybe not as good as James Conner, but he's probably towards the top of this group. Zach Moss, just one of those guys where it's like, okay, you're fine with him being your starting running back, but you want someone better, right? Raheem Mostert is crazy because it's he's 31 or 32, and it's running back shouldn't be good at this age, but somehow he just finds a way to be better already, which is just, it's crazy because he's like I said, he's old, but he's still just as fast as he was when he was a rookie, still just as agile, still has good vision. He's like the anti-running back because he's just getting better with age. He's like fine wine. Najee Harris, has the ability to be a B tier back, but his vision. I think he's better than what he is. I think he was just in the wrong system, and I also think Matt Canada just is a terrible offensive coordinator. But maybe in that wide zone offense with Arthur Smith, he's going to look a lot better. I think he has the ability. Like I said, a lot of these guys have the ability to be up here. They just need to. There's something that holds them back, and I think with Najee, it's his vision. But yeah, I think he has the ability to be a A tier back, but he's just missing something. He's missing a little bit of something. Isaiah Pacheco is, I think, he's good, but nothing. Again, doesn't have anything that like wows you really, right? But like you're fine with him being your starting running back. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank on this guy's name. I don't know who this is, unfortunately. Tony Pollard, probably up here. He's kind of like James Cook, I think. But he's good. He's very much like an offense. He's more of like a Swiss Army knife of a running back, and I think he's not so much of a between the tackle runner. He's like get him out in space. Throw him a screen pass, throw him a dump off. One of those kind of backs. Rachaad White is probably like towards the bottom tier of like starting running backs, but he doesn't have the best. He has really bad vision, but he has really good receiving ability, and his ability as a receiver kind of digs him out of that hole as like a really bad runner, and it makes up for it. So I think purely talking about him as a runner, he's definitely probably bottom of C tier, probably even D tier. But his receiving ability is so good that it pulls him up to this level. And I think if he just worked on his vision a little more, if he had a little better vision, he could be. I keep saying it, but he could be up there because he has a talent. He just doesn't. He just can't see the hole to save his life. Ramondre Stevenson, I feel like everyone just keeps waiting on him to have a big year, and people keep telling me he's going to be good. I just haven't seen it yet. Last year was supposed to be his big breakout year, and he just was average. I think for now, he's going to be in C tier. Roschon Johnson's a backup. I think has the ability to be a starter, but he's a backup for now, and I think he has a little bit of learning to do before he's ready to take over. Samaje Perine, again, is one of those backs in the same build as Zach Moss and like James Conner and Zach Charbonnet and all those guys. I'm not going to rehash it. He's fine. Saquon is an S tier back, and I think it's laughable that the Eagles were basically able to sign him because now they have the best running back, one of the best running backs in the league, and they have the best offensive line in the league, and the best running quarterback, well, one of the best running quarterbacks in the league, and now it's just like that option game, that run game for the Eagles is just going to be so deadly. I don't know who this is, unfortunately. Let's see. This is Devin Singletary. He is like... I think that's good. Because he's like... It's unfortunate because Devin Singletary is like... Everywhere he goes, they try to replace him. He's always like he's like the epitome of like, yeah, you like him as your starter, but you don't love him as your starter, and you're always trying to find someone better. He has good vision. He runs good between the tackles. He runs good outside. He's just a good, solid running back, but nothing special. And it's nothing on him. It's just he's limited because of his size and his body. It's just unfortunate for him. I know this guy. I just don't know his name, but he's the Titans' backup, and he's supposed to have. I keep seeing videos on him. He's supposed to have a breakout year this year. But I mean, he's really explosive, good receiving scat back. He's probably one of the better ones in the league. I think because of that, we're going to put him in C tier. And he probably is going to have a big year, but he's going to be splitting time with Tony Pollard. So I think C tier is good for him. And also he has issues with his knees. I know that. So that could hold him back a little bit. DeAndre Swift is one of the most gifted backs in the league, but has some of the worst vision in the league. I think that's a good spot for him. He could be really good if his vision wasn't terrible. Raquel Armstead, he's a backup. One of the most uninspiring backups. Power backup, but he's fine. This is Jaylen Warren. I think Jaylen Warren is like almost exactly the same player as James Conner. I think that's a fair comparison for him. He's good, but he's nothing special. You're always trying to replace him, basically. Zamir White, I think he's like very similar to these guys in the fact that, like, again, you're fine with him being your starter, but you want something more from your starter. Zeke he's fine. I don't think he's a D tier back, but he's definitely not what he was, his rookie year, and he's just kind of a shell of himself. He doesn't have the same speed. Still a good pass blocker. He's just not the same back that he was, and that's just because he's older now. So yeah, that's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave me some feedback. I'm sorry I couldn't rank these guys. I just don't know who they are off the top of my head. But I think we did a better job than we did the quarterback video, getting that bell curve. But it's hard to rank. It's hard to be like, I know a lot of people want to put so many guys up here, but it's just hard. I'm trying to keep it fair, like relative to the league, because there is just so many good running backs in the league right now. The talent, the position is flooded with talent. So, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you enjoyed. Leave a comment if you didn't enjoy it. Please tell me if you agree or disagree. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.